Access granted to file 76642. The files of the National Semblance Association are hereby sealed in accordance with the Superhero Restriction Act, banning all Huntsmen and Huntress activity. These files contain classified information regarding the Huntsmen and Huntresses, their powers or semblances, weaknesses, and in some cases, their secret identities, despite the government's insistence that this ban is permanent. These files should still be treated with the utmost secrecy and respect. Who knows? Maybe one day these kids will be allowed to help people again. I sure hope so.
In stories, the heroes get the honor and glory. But their gleaming armor, their mighty weapons, the people who built them were heroes in their own right. And I thought I was gonna follow in their footsteps. But a hammer and tools can't fix every problem. There are some things that can never be repaired. It's not enough to wait until the battle is over to fix their armor and bandage their wounds. If you can fight at their side, you can try to keep the blows from falling. And maybe even protect them from themselves. I am Brigitte Lindholm, and I will be their shield.
Cliffjumper audio file deemed incomplete. Damage during mission. Audio file from Cliffjumper mission recovered but determined to be incomplete by NSA Division Delta.
I've had some mishaps as Cryoshell, but generally I've learned how to take, lemons and make lemonade. And I've been able to do some things for people that would have possibly turned out quite badly had I not been there. I've gone on vacations with friends of mine who were looking forward to a great ski vacation, and we got there, snow was melted, and okay, I was able to go out there and make that happen. I'm like a human Zamboni. One day, I must have been, I don't know, maybe 1.5, 2 years old, and I had a glass of Kool-Aid, and I really wanted a popsicle. And in my mind, I was thinking popsicle. Next thing I know, Kool-Aid was frozen in the glass. I was like licking it, and from that point on, every time I wanted to freeze something, I just thought about it being frozen, and it was frozen. I was elated. I'm a huntress because that's who I am. If it was possible, I would just love to tell the world who I really am and let them know. But then I'd have no privacy. There'd be, like young men lined up all around my house. There'd be guys calling me every day trying to ask for a super favor. You know how that is.
Depth charge audio file irretrievable due to water damage.
I believe that the thing I get asked the most, aside from the separation of Team Dark from the military shortly after the Superhero Restriction Act came to be, is my ability to transform and be the first sentient robot to defy Dr. Eggman's orders from the get-go. People tend to think that it is a real picnic to be a triple-changing robot and be able to think for itself. But believe it or not, it has had its disadvantages. If I have my logic circuits malfunctioning, I tend to act similar to Gamma or Beta and would destroy the target rather than bring to justice. These incidents are not intentional, but it can be a real pickle when it interferes with any mission scenario that involves stealth, which I have found is not really my best option for mission operations, as I would much rather go on extermination missions. But I think that it couldn't be any farther from the truth when I say that it can cause trouble between all three of us. I am an E-Series robot, but I have now become an object of culture, an object of passion, and I would say an object of humor, which is not widely known. On the outside, I appear to be the ultimate killing machine and completely emotionless, but on the inside, I am wandering away on the steamship of hilarity.
How you doing? I'm Earthshatterer. So I have seismic wave generation, which is the ability to create earthquake-like disruptions in the ground to stop the bad guys with my seismic amplification hammer. No, I did not buy it at the hardware store, haha. I fly around with my vector thrust fusion rocket rucksack from place to place, and my powers are ineffectual and non-solid material, but if I can get a 6.0 on the Richter scale, I can generally stop who's out there, and We gotta talk about this. Hang on. Hey, Irv? Where's Irv? Yeah, I need some coffee. Yes, hello, I need some coffee. Very nice. No, I don't want tea. I want coffee. And put some aspirin in it or something. I want coffee made from aspirin. You know, you people just don't do your homework. And look at this. What is this? Jeez. Spend a little more money on your gear when you got a huntsman in here, okay? And you! Who are you? You know, I could be out solving crime at the very least, or solving this hangover. Ow! Oh.
Audio file for Firefly erased inadvertently due to Firefly's electromagnetic aura. Scheduled to re-record.
I'm doing fine, because I don't need helicopters, I don't need airplanes, I can heat the air underneath me and lift right up. I don't have equipment, the flames come straight out of me. What a waste. Some Huntsmen and Huntresses have equipment, and I think that's just a waste. You have to maintain it all the time. I just have my super suit, and that's about it. I like my independence. You know, the NSA knows I'm very independent. You know, and a team, you know, surrounding you, like, and they do look after me, and which is good and everything. They have to keep an eye on me, and I don't really know why. I mean, I only light a couple of things on fire that I shouldn't light on fire. I mean, it's not necessarily my fault. I mean, it is very hard to, you know, keep everything under wraps. Sometimes my temper, you know, I can be a little hot-headed, but not much. I mean, when I think about things that anger me just a little bit, you know, then boom, you know, then the building lights on fire, and then next thing you know, the hills light on fire, and okay, like, Cryoshell has to come along and to, you know, cool everything down. Oh, and then I have to be thankful and say, oh, thank you, Cryoshell, I really appreciate it. But, you know, it's really annoying. She thinks I know everything about her. I do enjoy being independent. You know, they recognize that I love my semblance, and, you know, I don't have to carry any equipment on me, and I really enjoy that. Can you say that again, please? Wait, what? You want me to go and say the whole thing again? I thought made myself completely clear. You want me to go back and do the whole thing again? I don't understand. Oh, okay. I am so sorry. I know what the problem is. I keep on forgetting which dimension I'm in. Oh, wait, which dimension am I in?
When I was young, I lived a life of recklessness. In my selfishness, I inflicted pain and hurt those I cared for. I have learned many lessons in my struggles with doubt and fear. Balance and harmony are not so easily obtained. They must be fought for. But on my journey, I have also learned another lesson. You do not have to fight alone. I am Genji Shimada, and the honor of the Huntsman title will be restored.
My family tells of an ancient legend about two great dragon brothers, the dragon of the North Wind and the dragon of the South Wind. Together, they upheld balance and harmony in the heavens. But the two brothers argued over who could better rule their land. Their quarrel turned to rage, and their violent struggle darkened the skies, until the dragon of the South Wind struck down his brother, who fell to earth, shattering the land. The dragon of the South Wind had triumphed, but as time passed and he realized his solitude, the sweetness of victory turned to ash. For years, the bereft dragon's grief threw the world into discord, and he knew only bitterness and sorrow. One day, a stranger called up to the dragon and asked, "O Dragon Lord, why are you so distraught?" The dragon told him, "Seeking power, I killed my brother, but without him, I am lost." The stranger replied, "You have inflicted wounds upon yourself, but now you must heal. Walk the earth on 2 feet as I do. Find value in humility. Then you will find peace." The dragon knelt upon the ground. For the first time, he was able to clearly see the world around him, and he became human. the stranger revealed himself as his fallen brother. Reunited, the two set out to rebuild what they had once destroyed.
There's always going to be a lot of collateral damage. There's lots of villains, and there's lots of villainous deeds going on at any given time. Part of my job is to prioritize which villains I'm going to combat. You know, so, I take a look around, I see if there's any good-looking women who need to be rescued immediately, and then I sort of start from there and work my way down the list. You know, if you've got Tubby Joe Schmo over there with a laser pointed at his head, and he might have to wait in line a little while. Yeah, I've fought my fair share of villains, and they all have their own unique challenges. You know, they got their zombie monkeys, and their giant laser robots, and their super aquatic ninja pygmies. But I tell you, once in a while, the real kicker is I get these dames, man, these dame villains, and they got the curves and the hair and the big eyes, and boy, those ones, they're really, really hard to kill. Especially the ones that they come up and, and they're looking at you and you're looking at them and you feel that simpatico, like she's digging you and you're digging her, digging you, and boy, you really got to take a jog around the block real quick and, sort of get your concentration back, compose yourself, because, you can't get distracted by these sort of thoughts when you're going up against a super villain. That's one of the hard parts of the jobs, when you come across a dame who's really something to look at, and you just got to let her have it because she's a villain. Yeah, those are the bad days.
Knuckles PSA, stay in school, take one.
Hello, kids. This is Knuckles, Master Emerald Guardian. I wasn't always a huntsman, but now I am. And I didn't graduate. No, I thought I was telling them to graduate, wasn't I?
Cut! Knuckles PSA, stay in school, take two.
Hello, kids. This is Knuckles, Guardian of the Master Emerald and Angel Island. Please just stay in school, otherwise you'll end up like me. That's not right. I don't know where I'm going with this. You told me there was got to be a script or something.
If you see the script, you can surely do that.
Well, I don't read.
Well, you're performing the PSA.
But you said that you were going to tell me what to say through the headphones, and you're not telling me anything except go again.
Cut! Let's do this one more time. Knuckles PSA, stay in school, take three.
Hello, kids. This is Knuckles, Guardian of Angel Island and Master Emerald. I didn't like school all that much, but maybe you will. Because you probably won't have the same teachers I had. That's not so good. Just aim high, and Knuckles believes in you. Thank you.
My name is Jack Morrison. People used to call me a hero. I led Overwatch for 20 years. We ended the Omnic Crisis and paved the way to a better future. Those were the good old days. They didn't last. Bad guys popped up all over the world. Lots of folks said we failed to keep the world safe. Protests broke out. They said that we were the problem, and people called for my head. They almost got their wish. It was a conspiracy. Overwatch got hit from inside and out. Our enemies blew up our headquarters, and me with it. They thought I died. Part of me did. But the war goes on. Now, I move in secret, striking from the shadows, hunting all those that brought Overwatch down. Call me a vigilante if you want. Truth is, I'm just a soldier.
Audio file from Matatoa found missing. Assumed confiscated during a surprise attack by Roman H. Torchwick.
So in high school, that's when I realized I had the ability to possess other people, to send psychic waves to other people to get them to do things that I really wanted them to do. I had a crush on the quarterback of the football team, who was also my best friend's boyfriend. I psych-waved him into asking me to the homecoming dance and breaking up with Shelley. And the more I practiced it, the shorter amount of time it took. You know, I could just sort of look at someone or look at a picture or see them passing by and think this thought or this action or whatever, and it would just happen. Never really used it to harm people, except for all those girls I made the guys break up with because I wanted to date them. Kind of freaky, actually.
When you're a female and a huntress, getting clothes that don't wear out after a couple of wearings, I mean, after one good fight, I don't want to look like a house rat, like I'm wearing a burlap sack. So, yeah, I've spent so much money. I've been broke trying to put together a good wardrobe for work. And that's just, when is this problem going to be solved for me? I mean, I can't wait for the day when somebody can put together a good line of action wear. You know, action wear that will be form-fitting, that will recover after a couple of good days of work, that can really function and have style. Okay, look, if I do a couple of good moves, hold on. If I do a couple of moves like, sorry. If I do a couple of moves like this. Sorry. Like that. I mean, look at the underarms. My armpits are practically down to my knees. This is like very, very unattractive. I'm bagging out around my hips. I was looking nice before it, and now I'm probably as big as a house in this thing. Hey!
Well?
Is there somebody out there? I mean, is there like any good wardrobe designer for me?
I might know somebody who could do it.
Help! I'm looking for a little help here, okay?
Name's Glinda Goodwitch. She is a bit tough to deal with, and she won't come cheap.
You know what? I got a good question. How come the NSA, the National Semblance Association, isn't paying for my action wear, huh?
Just remember to save your receipts.
I don't think you guys want me playing for any other team, do you?
Most Huntsmen and Huntresses have secret identities so they can have the so-called normal life. Me, I choose not to. I don't see why he gets so much crap for not having an alter ego. I mean, it's supposed to be a secret. Nobody is supposed to know. So what's the point? So if I take a girl on a date or something, yeah, I wear the costume, sure. So I get to bask in the awe of molecular man. But when we are alone, you know, with the candlelight music, it's a very common, and the fragrant oils and things of this nature. Then they come to me and say, oh, molecular man, maybe you take off the mask. Maybe we get to see who is underneath. And there's no one underneath. They would be horrified if I had asked them to take off their face. This is what molecular man wears. This is me. Other than being virtually indestructible because of my identity, I am just like you. And that's when the breakup starts, with the late night recriminations, with the slamming of the doors and shattering of the bottles and things of this nature. And the redistribution of the assets, and the it's not me, it's you. It's not you, it's me. But the molecular man's experience, it's always you. You see, when one is a huntsman, there's a certain catalog of expectations that are incorporated with it. Say, the physical appearance. Yes, I stay in shape. Yes, I have the colorful outfit that goes along with it. But you see what is inside. The perception, the sensitivity, the foresight, and the psychic awareness of what is important, what makes us different. What makes us transcend mere knocking about? Yes, I can mix it up. I can fight like the rest of them. I can knock 3 grim into walls if I have to. But why do that when, through the process of the mind, you can avert conflict before it happens? I can make you perceive that I am beating you up without even touching you. with rapier intellect. Quite frankly, there are a lot of things that come along with being a huntsman, the whacking, the battering, that I find quite unpleasant, and frankly, it's the germs. They're everywhere, and they're so small in saliva and blood and bits of bone and tooth. I mean, a lot of supervillains, yeah, quite frankly, they are not clean people. They don't take care of their hygiene, and I mean, you punch a mouth, and who knows what's on you after that. If cleanliness is close to godliness, then ungodliness is dirty. I can deal with a messy psyche, but I cannot deal with a messy bathroom. I mean, why can't people just clean up every once in a while and wipe a sink, or they leave hair? Don't they see it? Don't they see the scum building up? I mean, it is just a nightmare that you walk into someone's bathroom and they have not touched it in months, and is scum. And are we out of time?
Do we have to talk about Team Dark? Yes, I was part of that group, and it was well-intentioned, a bit misguided. Let's face it, it wasn't really Team Dark. It was really the Dark Knight +2 in Shadow's mind. It was less than thrilling. Less than thrilling is nothing. Well, let's see. I first started out as a government spy and then migrated over to Beacon Academy, which was great. I had a great long run there. A lot of work to be done. A lot of Huntsmen and Huntresses see Beacon as a kind of a launching ground. And to be honest with you, I didn't really have a lot of places to launch to from there. Missions that require the sunlight, well, sure, it's good for many people, but it's not so good for me. It limits my ability. It limits my work hours. It makes me look like an idiot if something happens during the day. And really, it's really hard when it's daytime for me, because I'm a rather social person during the nighttime. I like to dance. I like to go out after hours and find some more gems to add to my collection. And if something horrible happens during the daytime, my brain's not turning on because the sun's out. It's, it can be frustrating at times. Unless evil breaks out in a blacked out room, I'm done for.
I think the question I get asked the most is whatever happened to Team Dark. It was working fine for me. I had no problem working with a group, and at times I believe that we were among the best. But a team is just that, a team. And if you take select individuals and throw them into a contained environment, they will tend to react like oil and water, or peanut butter and chocolate. Although peanut butter and chocolate does taste good together, so that's actually a bad example. Yeah, I actually quite enjoy that. But how about I set the stage for you and explain what happened? Okay. A Huntsman Academy was attacked 4 years ago. Our team needed to respond, but officially, our hands were pretty full. Fortunately, Team Dark plays by its own rules. We all knew who was responsible, and rumor had it he would be well protected. Our mission was to get in and bring him out so he could face the music. At least, that's the way it was supposed to go. I won't go into all the details surrounding the incident, as we are on a time crunch with this interview. But needless to say, by the time we were done, our target was dead. So, I guess he got what was coming to him. Still, it didn't seem right. But that was just the least of our problems. For the first time, people knew we were out there. Huntsman gone rogue, the headlines read. The Superhero Restriction Act rules were tightened. New faces such as Winter Schnee stepped in to fill the void in Atlas. And I can't help but wonder if that's precisely where it all started to go wrong.
Slipstream audio file deemed incomprehensible, suspected either due to faulty recording equipment or a high level of ambient wind noise.
Some Huntsmen and Huntresses, when they're first breaking in, they tend to pay attention to their look, but after a little while, they can get a little floppy, and I don't want to name names, but okay. Brigitte Lindholm. You remember Brigitte? Man, I love that girl. Hey, Bridge, you know I love you, but the outfit? Come on. I mean, she wore that thing like it was nobody's business, and apparently, well, she never even had it clean. I mean, there were schmutz and oil stains from other battles that she fought in, but she actually worked on her signature yodel for a year. A Huntress yodel. If you can grasp that, well, you know, I'd see her occasionally, and she'd never be the same catastrophe, but she'd come up to me. Hey, Sonic, I've been working on it. What do you think? Ooh, I love you. I love TV. I mean, is that disgusting or what? Pull yourself together, Sister Lindholm. You're representing something here. It was embarrassing, a waste of time, and quite frankly, it was degrading to the profession. Kids cannot look up to a yodeler. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, Vic. Just, you know, it's kind of an off day for me. I blew out the pipes. I was trying to seal off this thing that came up out of the water. You know, the villains, they've always got those bases and stuff, and the funny thing is, I blew out the pipes by blowing out the pipes, you know what I mean? It's a little joke. Yeah, you know, a play on words. Yeah, well, you know, Bacon Academy, what can I say? That was a good idea for me. I mean, I'm not sure I know what happened, you know, and people blame me for the fall of Beacon, and they say there were these conflicts, excuse me, a little dry, but you know, I don't know what they're talking about, you know, husband, I'm fine, you may, I'm having a little trouble. You know, it was a democratic situation. You know, it was good. I don't know what people are saying. Excuse me. I liked Husband. He was a good guy. Excuse me.
Being a huntsman or huntress, one of the first things you gotta think about is what you want the people to call you. For me, I started out, well, let's go with the power. A reality made from nothingness woman. That was too long. I couldn't do that every time I went out to save someone. You know, walk up to a supervillain, it's like, stop, it's reality made from nothingness girl, and by then he's already turned tail and run. So one day, I'm in my dorm trying to study for a mathematics test at Beacon Academy, and I'm really desperate. I hadn't thought of a name yet. So I'm just looking around the place, and I start thinking, desk girl. No, that didn't work. How about book smarts? Lava lamp throwing woman. Black and white TV mistress. Monument. That didn't really work out for me. The ring slinger gal. I didn't really want that name. And I look into my math book and I notice that it's all about geometry, and one of the words that came up was symmetry. I then thought, maybe Symmetry Girl. No, because if my name's Symmetry Girl, it's like I'm only protecting things that are symmetrical. And I didn't really want to restrict myself to that. Then I got to thinking, Symmetry, Symmetra. That actually fits very well. Thought I had a good ring to it. So I started saying it to myself, and it was like symmetry and geometry and imagination all meshed into one. Those words all seem to work very well with my semblance and mindset. They all seem rather dynamic together. So, yeah, you put them together with a power ring, and you get me.
My powers are atomic density manipulation, the ability to reshape matter. So, say you have a cut or boo-boo, on your arm, then I could probably do something about it. Not exactly a band-aid. I'm a little bit better than that. I'll actually heal it, you know? So I got my start at, well, a doctor's office. Actually, it seemed like a good place to start out at the time, even for, you know, a young fondness like myself. But it's pretty boring there. Actually, rather chaotic for a 7-year-old fondness, and I kind of got tired of it. And, well, you know, doctors, they didn't quite appreciate what I was doing as much anymore. And, well, you know, wanted something a little bit sexier, you know, than just cleaning up wounds. My interest, you know, shifted into machinery, and I, you know, started working on a plane. Actually, that's where I first met Sonic. He's the one that inspired me to, you know, get this Huntsman thing going and see how that worked out for me. Currently, I'm focusing on trying to reshape different materials into motorcycles. It's a sort of a hobby, but my primary focus on the field is creating gadgets for any mission that comes up, and, you know, continuing to work on being a combat medic and technician. I'm starting to gain more appreciation into the Huntsman community. Even as a fondness, I've gone to conferences and stuff, and you know, first started at the back of their room as you know, non-looker, but now I have my own, you know, I have a table I get to sit at now. Some huntsmen, including Sonic, talk to me. I you know, especially if they want a motorcycle.
There's vapors, kind of gases in the air, and I can take them in. I'm kind of like a sponge in that way. I emit them however I want. I can emit your oxygen, I can emit carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, you know, whatever you need. It really depends on the situation. Say there's a fire, you know, and I gotta save people or whatever. Basically, I can take the oxygen out of the air, and that stops the fire. On the other hand, if there's a bad guy, I just emit the oxygen, and the fire gets a little crazier, and then, you know, bad guy's smoked. It's kind of awesome. Because I'm all about gas emissions. Yes, I have been the butt of many jokes. Maybe it's just because I'm too... What? What? Oh, I said butt. I said butt. What do you want? I said butt. Ha, ha, ha. Oh. It's a good time. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I've got powers. They involve gases. What do you want?
Overwatch was looking for a hotshot pilot to test their next generation teleporting fighter, the Slipstream. Enter Tracer. That's me. It was the sort of opportunity I dreamed of my whole life. But on my first flight, the teleportation matrix malfunctioned and I disappeared. I was missing for months and no one knew where or when I'd gone. By the time Overwatch found me, I was little more than a ghost. The doctors call my condition chronal disassociation. I faded in and out of existence, disappearing for hours and days at a time. And even when I was there, I couldn't touch anything. But my friend Winston would not give up. He kept at it, day and night, until he invented the chronal harness that keeps me anchored to the present. I was myself again. Even better, it turned my condition into something great. I had control over my own time, and I could speed it up and slow it down at will. My career as a pilot was over, but my life as an Overwatch agent had begun. Sounds like someone needs me. But don't worry, we'll have plenty of time for stories later.